can't get away from the fact that, look to my left is Cwm Colliery. It still exists for now, and it's part of the horizon there. And I walk out to the house from the kitchen into the office, and it's just there. It's part of our DNA growing up in Wales in the valleys, and I'm only two generations detached from the mine. My grandfather and my uncle worked in the mine. I grew up with paraphernalia in our home from the mine. Like, some people remember the the bronze statues of horses and the bronze horseshoes and the bronze lamps, that still exists in homes in our community. We've got Gen Z and younger millennials who are living with grandparents and great grandparents in, rows of houses that once occupied like a whole mining workforce. It's so prevalent. And I understand that. I'm not a big city girl. I don't understand the the legacy of the city, but I understand the legacy of our communities in Wales and how we were once, a shining example of innovation and sending the best coal from Wales around the world with the pride that we once had in that, how we exported coal to the world. We were global leaders in coal export. Wales was known for it, and how that brought thousands and thousands of workers into the workforce. And it was a legacy that we had, that we were, global exports. And then that went, and all we're left is almost just the scars of that. And I see that every day when I walk from my kitchen with a cup of coffee to the office. And I just think we were once leaders. We were once had so much optimism and opportunity. And I say that in the looser sense because opportunity was relevant to the time, right? But there was jobs. There was somewhere to work. It was not opportunity rich in all the things you could do, but there was a job for you. And I think, that has and still has an impact. And I want to kind of flip it and say, now we're opportunity rich. Now we can, in those rows of houses outside of coal mines and coal communities, we can still provide opportunity to the young people growing up in these communities and say, okay, we once exported coal to the world, let's have ambition to export digital skills to the world. When I drive through these streets, and it's the same when I go to Ebervale or any other area, I've been near coal mine towns, it's and through the streets of the Rhondda, you'll see these rows and rows of houses, and I'm wondering what are the young people doing in those houses, and how do we bring opportunity to them? How do we say, okay, you've got access to internet, you've got access to laptops, why can't we can train you up, we can provide opportunity. There's so much opportunity, in digital, and then advanced digital and IT and coding and data and AI and blockchain and gaming and esports and design and digital marketing. None of this stuff needs a degree. It needs the opportunity to just learn it, gain experience in it, and then sell your skills to the world. And I think there's a real opportunity there. And I think with that, we can bring back people to our communities and bring people out to their homes, bring people into, maybe, the old sense community centres, but let's turn them into digital hubs, right? I say digital hubs in the loose sense because that can mean a lot of things for a lot of people, but a digital hub in that, you can work in your bedroom, you can work in your garden office, or you can work in the local community centre because it's got cracking Wi-Fi, it's got refreshments. It's got people you can talk to. It's got an ability to share resource, knowledge, and experience with other people without having to commute to Cardiff. Because young people in this community, especially the further up the Rhondda you go, Cardiff is an occasion, not necessarily, a commute. I've met people up in the valleys, been to Cardiff once, and the transport exists. I mean, it's not great, but the fact of working in Cardiff doesn't compute. You know, working in our communities, bringing the world to the communities through digital and the internet. There's a real opportunity there. So I'm waffling now, obviously. That's what I do. But yeah, like you say, why Wales, or why be there, and why I love working in the garden so much is because I can't get away from the fact that I'm a generation detached from the coal mine, and that coal mine represents so much of why we were once great as a nation in exporting and work and opportunity. Yes, they were exploited, and yes, it was poor paying conditions, but there was opportunity there. And how do you bring that opportunity back? So I'm not articulating it very well, but that's why Wales. That's why I turned down, I don't know how many opportunities to go work in London, to go work across the UK. Recently just come back from a role I had doing that for a year, and I just thought, no, it's all about this. I understand this. This is in my blood. This is in my DNA. I know who we are as people, who we are as a community, and why we need to help the next generation. So that's why, back to your original question, a lot of my posts and a lot of my content is around the Welsh economy, the Welsh skills provision, the Welsh education system, and where I see opportunity, and why that's in my blood, and that's why Wales.